Hello everyone, thank you for coming to this session. Hello. As you can see from the title of the presentation, the phenomenon under investigation is feedback and its effect on quality of students' writing. And when I was preparing the presentation, I realized how complicated the title of my presentation is, but the idea behind it is very simple and very practical. So let me make you familiar or, well, introduce the idea, the rationale behind the finding or partial findings of my research on the effect of feedback on students' writing. Feedback might be defined as an information provided by an agent, which might be teacher, peer, book, parent, yourself, or experience regarding aspect on one's performance or understanding. And today I'm going to focus on teacher-peer feedback and writing performance. Feedback I'm going to talk about is written feedback, and you would agree with Lecky that providing written feedback on students' essay or writing is very time-consuming activity. But we as teachers feel almost obliged to do it, and our students expect us to do it. But is this effort, which is so time-consuming, worth doing? And does it contribute to students' language development of their writing, their acquisition of language? Is the effort worth doing? And this was the idea or the question behind the research or findings what I'm going to talk about. Feedback, is present in many theories of second language acquisition, but the one which is most relevant to writing is sociocultural theory, which assumes that learning is a social phenomenon, and language learning, including is socially and culturally mediated within the zone of proximal development. And key concepts or key construct of this theory is mediation and zone of proximal development, which is basically the distance between the current or actual level of students or learners' linguistic production and potential level of their linguistic production, which a learner might achieve with the help of an expert or peer. And mediation is a mechanism transforming lower forms of thinking to higher forms of thinking, and one of its forms might be either implicit or explicit feedback. And according to Landhoff, it should start with implicit hints and gradually moving towards explicit corrections, but only if necessary. So that's been for the feedback. And now as for the writing quality, which is the object of my research, it can be, very broadly defined as fit of a particular text to its context. Linguistic knowledge is very important for quality writing, and for second or foreign language learners it is of utmost importance, especially for transforming their propositional ideas into verbal forms. And various studies have proven that there are links between second language writing quality and various language features. Basically, it is syntactic complexity, cohesion, and lexical sophistication. And the last one is the one I'm going to narrow the concept of writing quality to. Lexical sophistication, according to Laufer Nation, is understood as the use of advanced, sophisticated, difficult words in written or spoken production. So the more advanced, the more difficult words the learner uses, the more proficient he or she is. Or, well, it might be express the proportion of advanced words in a text when you need to or express it in numbers, which I needed. And that's what I'm going to talk about now, how to put this abstract concept into numbers and measure the development. Lexical sophistication might be expressed through word frequency, so the less frequent words used by a learner might indicate more higher proficiency. Word range, here if a learner uses words from more specific context, again it refers to or indicates higher proficiency. Or semantic relations of words, or also, psycholinguistic properties of words, and this is the focus of this presentation. Psycholinguistic properties of words might be understood as, psycholinguistic properties of words, this concept draws from psycholinguistics, which, among other things, explores how our mental lexicon is organized and how the words in our mind are accessed, processed, etc. So this is where this concept comes from. For my research, I chose four psycholinguistic properties: familiarity, which might be understood as a frequency of familiar words in common discourse, so how familiar words are for adults. So apple is very familiar word, unlike infinity. Imaginability refers to easiness of imagining a word. Window is a word which is easy to imagine, unlike philosophy. Meaningfulness relates to or how a word is related to other words. So beautiful is related to garden, woman, conference, unlike other, which doesn't have many relations. And age of acquisition is the age at which a child in L1 learns or acquires a particular word. And now my research question. So I was trying to find out how multiple draft combine electronic peer-teacher feedback provided asynchronously affected writing quality of my students. The writing quality was approached from lexical sophistication perspective and further narrowed to psycholinguistic properties of words, further specified to familiarity, meaningfulness, imaginability, and age of acquisition. So how did combined peer-teacher multiple draft e-feedback affect the quality of English as a foreign language writing with regard to psycholinguistic properties of the selected ones? The research was designed as a quasi-experiment with pre-test and post-test. 32 bachelor degree students took part in it, and they were students of the last semester of fourth semester business English course with target of C1 level according to CEFR. And the main focus of this course is development of academic writing, or the basic feature of academic writing, and also mastering the genre of problem solution essay, which was both their seminar assignment, and later they were supposed to write it as an exam essay. The data were collected throughout the spring semester, and after 6 weeks of face-to-face input on academic writing and the genre of problem solution essays, students were asked to write their first problem solution essay. These essays were collected to make pre-test corpora. Then, before the treatment in the form of multiple draft feedback provision, students were trained on providing peer feedback, and then each of them was asked to peer review 3 essays of their colleagues. Using this feedback, each student was asked to rewrite the essay, and then teacher provided feedback twice, and then the final version was assessed using the exam criteria. And after the treatment, students were asked to write a brand new essays, and they were collected to form post-test corpora. And the aim of the research was to measure if there is any development in writing quality from pre-test to post-test after the treatment in the form of multiple draft feedback provision. Here you can see the task for eliciting the pre-test corpora and post-test corpora. You can see the topics refer to students' ESP, which is business English, and the feedback was given on features of academic writing and genre of problem solution essay. So let me describe the intervention now. So here is the application which catered for the logistics of the exchange of the essays among the students. Here you can see the example of peer feedback. First it was specific feedback right in the essay, and then students also completed this checklist to show the writer the extent of meeting the criteria. Then teacher feedback, which is very similar to the peer one. It's indirect coded feedback where different colors refer to different problematic areas which were targeted by this feedback, complemented by comments which mostly related to organization or genre or content, or there were links to metalinguistic external feedback or information. Also, teacher added excuse me, some general comments and the same checklist. And the third draft, here the feedback was, really, not that extensive, and it was written corrective feedback, and it was more editing than formative feedback. Also, checklist was provided together with assessment of the essay using the exam assessment criteria and some commentary. Excuse me. And after data collection, I have 2 corpora, pre-test and post-test corpora, and I needed to somehow measure the development in writing quality with regard to lexical sophistication. And I used this tool for the automatic analysis of lexical sophistication, which is a context and learner-independent natural language processing tool, which computes over 140 indices representing a wide range of theoretically important aspects related to lexical sophistication. You can see the interface of this free available tool, and while there are various buttons you can click to choose the indices with in terms of the reference corpora you want to use or various list of words. I have chosen these 4 indices out of 140 to see that there was any development. And it was the index of imaginability, meaningfulness, familiarity, and age of acquisition. Below you can see the study which has proved that there is that this particular index is important indicator of second language writing quality. And the TAILS calculates each index by assigning a rating to each word in a target in the learner's text. Then the TAILS sums up all the ratings, and this sum is divided by the number of words in the target text, and this is done for each property. So each text is given an index for imaginability, meaningfulness, familiarity, and age of acquisition. So plenty of numbers. And what to do with these? So I used SPSS to do descriptive statistic for pre-test and post-test corpora, and to carry out Wilcoxon sign rank test, which can tell me whether the change, if any, between pre-test and post-test is statistically significant. This is test used for non-parametric statistical inference from time 1 to time 2. And it's equivalent to the paired sample test, where there is a normal distribution of the values. So, and how to interpret the indices? So, very plainly said, more proficient writers use less imaginable, less familiar, less meaningful words, and more words that are acquired later. All are considered to be more sophisticated. So there is negative correlation between writing quality and the first 3 indices, and positive one with the age of acquisition. And so here are the results of descriptive statistics. You can see pre-test and post-test mean values for the index of imaginability, meaningfulness, familiarity, and age of acquisition. Here, pre-test and post-test, and you can see they decreased. So the nature of this change suggests that the writing quality increased, unlike the age of acquisition, where the correlation is positive. It increased, and it should if the writing quality between pre-test and post-test was supposed to increase. The changes are fine, but the point is if they are statistically significant, and the answer comes with Wilcoxon sign rank test and with this magic P, and all 3 or 4 P's were less than 0.05, which means the changes, the improvements are statistically or were statistically significant, and Pearson R, which express size effect, basically to say the effectiveness of the change was medium, which is, well, pretty good. One more thing which is worth noticing in the descriptive stats is variance, which says how far the indices of individual texts are from the mean value. And you can see that between pre-test and post-test, with some indices variance rose or decrease. So it's quite inconclusive to say whether the feedback provision described before contributes to homogeneity or heterogeneity of the students' performance. Okay, so conclusions. The nature of significant changes in the indices of lexical sophistication suggest an improvement in writing quality. Students in posters writing use less frequent words, more abstract, less associative, and acquired later, thus using more advanced and sophisticated vocabulary. The effectiveness of the feedback provision measured by effect size is medium, and there is an uncertain effect on variation. Changes, well described, correspond with the objective on feedback aimed to draw learners' attention to vague, redundant, informal spoken language, and to encourage them to use more formal, field-specific vocabulary, which might have happened. Okay, so in terms of lexical or psycholinguistic properties of words, the effort might have been worth doing. And provided the feedback is timely, specific, multiple, within the zone of proximal development, and mediated from implicit to explicit, which I hope my feedback was. Thank you for your attention. Okay, feel free to ask questions.
I appreciate the efforts you took doing this really sophisticated type of research. Very inspirational. And my question deals with the wording of the feedback you provided to your students. Did you do any pre-training? Because I might have a feeling that some students might not understand the wording of your feedback. Like, I noticed somewhere on the right of your screen that you use the word, your writing is not concise. So actually, this is about lexical sophistication.
Yeah.
So did you do any training so that they are familiar about the way how you provide your feedback? Linguists are, how to say, the wording of your feedback.
Sorry. It doesn't work. Sorry, I can't find the slide. Well, during the first part of the semester, where they were given input on academic writing and the genre of problem solution essay, they were at the beginning of each writing session, they were faced with the features of academic writing. It should be formal, concise, tentative, accurate, precise, and well, the list I showed you. And students before the feedback treatment were given training on providing peer feedback. And at this stage, they should have become familiar with the expressions or with the language, or they can just use the wording from the checklist. Yeah. So I hope the combination of all of these might help.
Guarantee, yeah. I'll make them understand.
Thank you.
Because actually, I was talking about our assessment rubrics in the morning in my presentation, and we are using a very simple way of assessing essays, such as we look at the content. But actually, students struggle with the word content. What does it mean? So how do I assess the content? So what does this mean? Mm-hmm. So actually, this is kind of an insight I got from my research. not everything that we take for granted as taken for granted by our students.
Yeah, maybe I have a follow-up question, because I think the idea of checklist is great. I think that's what can navigate them nicely, how to provide the feedback. And you have observed in which areas is it really difficult for them to provide feedback, yeah, where they are not?
Well, I will take it the other way around. Well, the grammar is easier for the student. Vocabulary, punctuation, yeah. But the genre of problem solution essay, they didn't almost comment on it at all, because, well, they struggled with the genre requirements. It had to be done by me in the second and third round to make them make thesis statement, topic sentence, etc. Yeah. So genre. And
In terms of structuring?
yes, structure. Yeah, it is a 5-paragraph essay. Yeah. And well, the academic language as well, but well, some of them. Again, it depends on individual students. Yeah, so those who were attentive in class, well, could provide more beneficial feedback. Yeah, but well, I think this is not about receiving the peer feedback, but about providing it. In my opinion, this is the key in peer feedback provision, that you provide feedback on your students' writing, and at the same time realizing or internalizing all aspects you should cover, yeah, and which should be reflected in your future writing, yeah. So it's about the giver side, not the giver side, not the receiver side. Yes.
I had the pleasure of reading this study beforehand, and so I'm still wondering and thinking about the relationship of these very specific variables to the genre and the audience that the students were writing in. So can you say more about what you told, because this was all the same genre, right?
Yeah.
And were they economics students?
Yeah.
Generally?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And did you talk about audience with them, who they were writing for? The reason I'm curious is because like something like imageability or even familiarity, I can imagine a problem solution paper where you wouldn't want less of those things. In fact, you might want more. For example, if you're speaking to politicians, let's say, who might not be academics. So,
yeah. These are just construct, and there is no point in telling students. This is one of many ways how to tap on the construct of lexical sophistication. Yeah.
okay. So it's more like you're more interested in that theory and sort of testing it out.
Because I wanted to. You want to measure something, but the problem is how.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I first I chose this external tool because the ratings which are given to words in the students' essays are ratings from reference external corpora, British National Corpora or COCA Corpora. Yeah, so it depends which one you use. So the nice thing about this is that it's with reference to target language, yeah, and what's considered advanced, sophisticated in the target language, and just add to the words some numbers in terms of lexical sophistication, because in fact I have about 14 indices. For this presentation I chose just 4, but I have 14 covering word frequency, word range, frequency of n-grams, yeah, many more, yeah. And in fact, this should be complemented by Hume ratings of the essays, and triangulated with questionnaire I administer to the students. So after all these three aspects will be put together, so I can say for more certainly what has happened. Yeah, but
So you didn't tell the students to try to be more, to try to use words that were
no.
more-
I just say, yeah, if they use instead of person, a manager, so the index, one of these indices definitely rises. Or instead of thing, if they use, well, I don't know, accountancy or what's something,
Yeah.
merger, yeah, this is quite highly rated. So, and with each index, the word is rated differently, but the more advanced, the higher rating. Yeah. Or in this case, the lower rating, yeah, because it's vice versa, yeah. But this is the idea behind, yeah. Well, what this means is it is not important for them at all. Yeah, it's important for me to somehow touch upon this construct of lexical sophistication or generally vocabulary.
So if I may paraphrase, your pedagogical aim was to come up with a pedagogical solution, how to help students to increase the range of vocabulary they are using, so that they don't remain or they don't freeze up at B1 level or B1 plus level, but try more to be more creative, because many of the ideas can be translated in B1 language. We can put everything in very simple words, but this is not our aim of the language classes at the university. We have higher ambitions, so our students should share them with
I don't
us.
know.
But I think it's
completely agree.
Peter is right, but it depends on
I
the audience.
understand
Yeah,
that.
ideally, they should be capable of both, right? They should be
It's a matter
capable
of audience,
of
yeah.
to speaking to experts
No, I'm
and
questioning
to
what you
general
said.
public as well, right?
Well, in terms of my pedagogical aim, the first version of the essay is very, very informal. In other words, they write as they speak. What I want to achieve with the feedback is to move them to more formal language. Use them chief executive officer instead of a person. Yeah. Yeah, and I just highlight this informal expression and want them to rewrite the text using more specific vocabulary, less vague, less spoken.
I guess that's where then my question would come in. Are you telling them that's because I want you to try to speak to a different audience?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like now I want you to speak to an academic audience.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah. I didn't describe the input part of the course, which partly belongs to the intervention. Yeah. They are told you should master formal English. Yeah. Formal way.
Yeah, because I think that's really key. I think to make it clear to them that they're trying to reach a different audience. What I would worry about is if they get the message that that's better writing. You know what I mean? Like that's somehow, and that's why the word, when you use the word like quality, that's why I'm like, quality for who, right? Like what's
Yeah,
the
this is
purpose?
just something what's used in the papers proving that these indices are indicative of more proficient writing. Yeah, because this is not what.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
characteristics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing is what I told the students and what is my research goal or objective.
But surely this is just one of the aspects of quality writing.
Yeah, sure.
And
Yeah.
another aspect is, for example, the concept, like where is the message? You can have
The
very nice
structure.
words,
Sure.
but there is no meaning behind it.
Exactly, and that's why I have to complement it with human rating, yeah, because this tool can't read, yeah, it can count everything but can't read anything.
Doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for your attention.